Assalamu alaikum and very good morning to one and all. Yes, we have been joined by the speaker of the day, Dr. Rakesh Tomar. He is with us. And most welcome, sir, in this session. Sir, you please unmute yourself.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Professor Zahur. Thank you so much.
Yes. So in the name of Almighty Allah, the most beneficent and merciful, we are just initiating this today's session. Say probably this is fourth in queue in one of our programs, that's a virtual continuum. That's about inculcating those human values, ethics, and attitude in higher education institutes. So it's a series of webinars, and yours is fourth in queue. We have already conducted 3 sessions before this, and it will be going on through 1-2 months more. So we are trying to reach to our students. That's what the aim of this program is, to reach our young faculty and the students, even to all. It's I mean, appeal to all the age groups, students or the faculty, just to see where we have deviated from our those traditional human values, and what change we have got in our behavior, what nowadays we very oftenly just name as intolerance. I don't know where from this word has come, but it has been a very catchy word now, intolerant. We all are now intolerant in one way or the other way. So yes, definitely the science and the technology, the modernization, the digitization, what I feel, and screen addiction, that has added to all these altered behaviors in the humans. I believe so. And we just want through these programs to realize our faculty and the students, to make them realize that there has been a shift in the moral values, in those, you can say, in other words, the societal, those cohesion. I feel that societal cohesion has, that has very much weakened. We are not now social, probably we are not very social. We are very selfish nowadays. Earlier, we used to be very social, and if I can recall my old days, then I feel very sad how the time has changed drastically. Anyway, this is our aim of this program, to reach to our faculty and the students, and somehow if you can infuse or imbibe some values, some good things in our listeners, that will make our day good. So I welcome you, sir, in this session. I'm really thankful to you. I'm humbled that you have accepted our invitation and you have spared. I realize your precious time, and you have spared your time, and you have been with us this morning. And I'm also thankful to all the faculty. We have so many faculty members here with me this morning. My team members, my professors, Professor Altaf is there. My team members, Dr. Ajaz Quraishi is there. Sajad Quraishi is there. Mudassir is there. So many, Hamdani is there. All my Fozia is there. Zahid is there. So all these are my team members who are just taking the keen interest in arranging the speakers. And I'm very thankful to Dr. Sajad Ahmed, who has given your name, and he has formally, I have invited, but I can say otherwise, it was Dr. Sajad who has invited you. So I think it is better that Dr. Sajad, I may request Dr. Sajad to brief about the speaker of the day. That will be much better. Yes, Dr. Sajad, over to you.
Yeah, sure, sir. Sure, sir. Am I audible, sir?
Audible, you are audible.
Oh, thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum and a very good morning to everyone. I'm highly thankful to the chairman of the organizing committee, Professor Zuhur Ahmad Papari sir, for giving me a chance to introduce our today's eminent speaker and my close friend, Dr. Rakesh Tomar. Dr. Rakesh Tomar is currently a senior faculty member in the Department of Physical Education and Sports Sciences at King Fahd University of Petroleum and Minerals, Tehran, Saudi Arabia. Dr. Tomar has visited more than 55 countries for conferences, paper presentations, and other academic activities. He has attended more than 370 international conferences, seminars, and workshops across the world, had been keynote and or guest speaker on 125 occasions. Currently, Dr. Tomar is pursuing 2-year IOC diploma in sports nutrition, besides having certificate courses in protein for weight loss and plant-based.
Sir, please unmute yourself, sir. Ajaz sir, unmute yourself. Unmute yourself, Ajaz sir.
Sajjad,
You
you are not
unmute
audible.
yourself. Unmute yourself.
Dr. Sajjad,
हमारी
not
आवाज उस
audible.
तक नहीं आ रही है क्या? That's Sajjad.
And biomechanics.
Yes.
Sir?
Yes, please go.
Now it's okay. Go
Okay,
ahead,
sir.
please.
Dr. Tomar have examined and evaluated 93 PhD theses as foreign examiner. Dr. Tomar, as I know him at University of Delhi during our studies, is an elite athlete, having competed number of full marathons, half marathons, and long distance races. Dr. Tomar have recently conquered mighty Khardungla Pass by cycle during Manali to Leh cycle expedition. Well, I won't be staying between you and Dr. Tomar anymore, so cutting it short and requesting Professor Zuhur Ahmad Pampari sir to officially invite our speaker for his talk. Thank you. Over to you, Professor Pampari sir, again, please.
Oh, okay. Dr. Sajjad, thanks a lot for introducing the speaker of the day to our audience. So I can see that our speaker of the day is really highly experienced personality with us. So we are really blessed and we are humbled to have him this morning with us. So, well, I will not take much of the time, and let us humbly and just respectfully just invite the speaker of the day, Dr. Rakesh Tomar. Please go ahead, sir.
Okay, thank you so much, and Assalamu alaikum to all of you, and a very warm good morning to all the participants, all the members on the board on this platform for this occasion. First of all, I would like to convey my thanks to the Honorable Vice Chancellor of the Sharia Kashmir University of Agriculture Sciences and Technology, Professor Nazir Ahmed, for his guidance and his leadership, to organize such a series of programs where the university aims to reach to students to develop various values, ethics, and other characteristics in the student. I would also like to thank the chairman of the organizing committee, Professor Zuhur Ahmad Pampuri, who has been gracious and kind enough to give me this opportunity and make this event happen. And I would also like to thank all the members of organizing committee, who are working to make such events successful. And also, I would like to convey my sincere thanks to Dr. Sajjad Ahmad Bhatt, who has reached to me and actually who has made this discussion between you and me possible. And I can see here Dr. Ajaj Qureshi also on this platform. So he's we have very close relationship. I have with Dr. Ajaj and Dr. Sajjad. We studied together in University of Delhi. So nice to see you here, Dr. And all the faculty members or the students, who are present here, for this lecture. Welcome you all. So without taking more time, let me first quickly share my screen with you all. Can you just give me the right to share the screen, Professor Zuhur?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I would like to share my screen. So
Sure, sir. Now you can.
Yeah, okay, yeah, thank you. That's great. Okay, so just give me a moment and please confirm anyone if my screen is visible. And
yes, sir. Yes, sir. It is visible. It's visible. It's
okay, that's great.
yes. Yes.
Okay, once again, thank you so much. And as Professor Zahoor has said, his introductory, speech that, university is trying to inculcate, values, ethics, and right attitude, among the students of universities through various programs. They're trying to reach students, and of course, not only students, but also all other members of the university. And my lecture today will be, of course, how we can inculcate these values, but how we can inculcate these values through an integrated approach, with the help of exercise and right nutrition. So that will be main theme of my lecture. So I will try to explain to you, try to make you understand how sports, exercise, and right nutrition can help you to become a better individual. And that's what we mean all when we say better human values, ethics, attitude. Means we want to be a better individual in all sense, right? And when we talk about all these attitudes, ethics, and human values, the most important thing is the implementation, right? You may learn many things, you will hear many things, but at the end, the implementation and follow-up is the key. So how you implement, how you follow all those things in your, and how you incorporate all those things in your lifestyle, that is very important. So the implementation and follow-up is the key. Now, before I begin, I would just like to give some quotations, some quotes from different personalities, in the field of sports, certainly by which we learn a lot of things when we talk about the attitude, values, and ethics. Like what you see on your screen, is a quote from a famous, professional, world boxing champion, Muhammad Ali. I think everyone knows about him. He said once, that champions are not made in the gyms, right? So champions are
Sir, please unmute yourself and your screen has, I don't know, there has been some fault.
yeah. Actually, my connection was lost,
Okay. You just take your own time. Sir.
So I will just share it.
Yes, sir. No issue at all. No issue at all.
Normally it does not happen, but it happened probably with me first time. Okay, so I was at, this screen. My internet connection is unstable. Just let me change my connection settings.
Okay. Sure, sir.
Two connections, I will switch to the other network. Yeah, okay. So what I was talking earlier is that what Muhammad Ali has said, that you need a desire, a dream, a vision, that's what every one of us want, and that's what we want our youth to have, and that brings the values, in our, in our life. We learn so many lessons through sports. One of the lesson here is, the famous quote from Michael Jordan. Everyone knows, who are a little bit having knowledge about sports, about the famous, basketball player from US, Michael Jordan. He said that I can't accept failure. Everyone fails at something, but I can't accept not trying again. So failure is not not something which is which can let you down. So the important thing is that you have to keep on trying again. So that is the key to the life, that is key to the success. And this is what the lesson, what we get from when you involved in any type of sports. And then never give up. What you get, through sports is that you never give up. And that's, again, I will give example of Michael Jordan. He is one of the best player in the history of basketball, and he was rejected because of his height. Initially, in his high school days, he was just rejected because of his height. Just imagine if he would have given at that time, we would never seen him, at such stage. So you should never give up, right? You should always keep on trying despite of failures. And then the fundamentals are very important in life. So I'm giving examples through sports, certainly because I'm a sports person, so I will give all examples through sports, but that's what teach you. That's all these examples are applicable in your life, right? In whatever profession, whatever way you are working. So the fundamentals are always key, because like, again, here is a quote from Michael Jordan, and which I think most of you will agree, that he said that you can practice shooting for 8 hours a day. Means you can practice a lot, you can do a lot of hard work, but if your technique is wrong, then all you become is a very good at shooting in the wrong way. Even you will be able to shoot, but you will be shooting in the wrong way. So that is why get the fundamentals down, and the level of everything you do will rise. So you have to make your fundamentals correct right from the beginning of your especially for our kids, you should make it from the beginning of your early ages, right? Then success. So the sports teaches a success, but how you succeed. You don't just succeed because you are getting success every time. So like, again, he said that, Michael Jordan, that he has failed over and over and over again in his life, and that's why he succeeded. So failure is a step to the success, right? When you fail in doing certain things, you get an opportunity to correct yourself. You get an opportunity to find mistakes and correct those mistakes, and that's how you succeed. Success does not come without, I will not say the word failures, but these failures, when we say this word, these are, like, you can say, obstacles. So these are the steps to succeed, right? To reach to a peak or top spot, right? Then commitment, you get you learn how to commit yourself to certain tasks that you get from the sports. I'll again give you your example from one of the ultra marathon runner. He ran, just imagine this person, he ran 100 miles on a treadmill in a room, which is something amazing, right? So for all those things, you need commitment, and that's what sports and exercise teaches you. And I personally, I'm a, at this age of 50 years, I still do Iron marathon. And next week on Saturday, exactly after 7 days, I'll be going to Riyadh to run a full marathon that is 42 kilometers. And I'm not running for as a part of my job. Like, this is a passion. You do it for your own, because you learn so many things. And what I learned when I do these long distance races, and when I keep myself involved, in any form of physical fitness exercise, that I commit to certain thing. So commitment is, something which you get from exercise. Then dedication. Dedication is another thing which we need to inculcate, in our youth, right? And here I'm giving an example, from one of the child, which I was very, happy to know when I read this, and that's why I'm sharing this. She is a girl child from 5th grade in US, of course, and she has to run certain distance in a year as a part of her program. But we know that in last 2 years, the world is facing lockdown because of the coronavirus. So she was not able to go out and run. So what she did, that she ran around her house during those days to complete the program in which she was participating. So that's the dedication, and that's dedication you need. And just to give an example here for myself also, like 2 years back in 2020 April, when this lockdown started, so as I told you, I do a lot of exercise and running every day. So during that time, like, we were not allowed to even step out from our door. So, and I have to do my exercises. So what I did, I just ran a half marathon, 21 kilometers inside my house, inside my room, just around the dining table. I just ran for 2 hours. So I'm not saying that we have to do this on everyday basis, but the point here is that the exercise and the sports, if you're involved in physical fitness programs, this gives you, or this develops, dedication in your attitude, right? So that's very important. And this is again one of my example of when I complete this expedition from Manali to Leh by cycle in 2019. Why I'm sharing is this, because of course it may be easy, or maybe I'm not saying the easy, it's always difficult, but still relatively easier for people who are cycling or who are cyclists or who do regular cycling. I completed this program and I never touched cycle for last 30 years. In 1992, last time when I touched the cycle, when I was like in my childhood. And after that, I never, ride the, cycle. And that's the first time without any experience, without cycling, for last so many years, I reached Manali and I decided that I have to complete this. Why? Because I have a passion inside. I have a commitment inside, and I know that I can do it because I am physically fit. I do a lot of running. So I just talk to myself that if I can run for 42 kilometers, cycling is easier for me. I can easily cycle for 42 kilometers or 50 kilometers, although it is on uphill. But still, I told myself that, okay, if I cannot cycle, I will just walk with the cycle. That's what I can do. So the point here is that you decide something and then you execute it. So the decision making and then executing your decision is very important. And that's what you get when you involve yourself, in any form of physical exercise or sports activities. Now, if we want to develop, if we want to inculcate, all these values, right attitude, moral, okay, all these things in our youth, the sports is very important, right? As I said, and for that, developing a sports culture in universities is a key. So we have to somehow, in some way, develop the sports culture in our universities. And when I say developing a sports culture means, it does not mean that you have to play a particular sports, like an organized sports, not like that. Sports means any form of exercise. So sports culture, when I say, means it includes all kinds of acts, all kinds of morals, products, which are related to sports or even behavior. So I think this is a very long topic for discussion. I will not go in very detail, but this is very important because I'm giving here a lecture to the university students. So how can we develop the sports culture? There are so many things to talk. I'm just giving you on your screen here a few points which helps, which can help us, to develop the sports culture in our universities. The first thing for that is that we should integrate, the sports culture with the regional culture. Because, when you integrate the regional culture with the sports culture, the students will get a sense of belongingness. Until and unless you feel that you belong to a program, you will not be able to give 100% commitment to that program. So the regional culture, when you integrate with the sports culture, then you can easily promote it, and that gives a sense of belongingness, to the person, right? And the third is a reach to each. Like, for example, if you prepare a team, say cricket team or volleyball team for your university, you are only reaching to maybe 10 or 20 players, right? So in your team is maybe 10 to 20 players. So what about the remaining 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 students? So we should have a program, we should have a program where we can reach to each students. And that's why I always say reach to each approach is very important when we develop a sports culture in universities. So sports culture does not mean that we have certain teams and you send team for participation. So that is also important, but that does not, involve each and everyone in university or, higher education institutions. And then the traditional and local games are very important. So we have to involve, we have to, bring students closer, to these activities with the help of traditional and local games. So when you organize traditional games, when you organize the local games, students come forward, and that's how you can build a connection or a network, between the students, and the others, right? Then sports heritage, sports legacy, are again very important, and that's where we feel proud, And I don't know how many education institutions, not only in India, but also abroad. I have traveled so many places, but I hardly hear the word sports museums, in educational institutions. So why can't we open sports museums, in our education institutions? So the terminologies are sometimes very important. So when you have such terminologies, when you have such places in education institutions, it attracts, the youth, it attracts, people to take part in these activities. So establishing the sports museums is very important. And the last thing is more doers than followers. We don't need followers. I don't need someone who follows sports. I don't need someone who follows football or cricket. So we need the doers. And unfortunately, if you look around the world, around the globe, right, we have more followers than the doers. So many people you will see, they will follow cricket. But did they do exercise? No. Only just few. So we have to outnumber these followers by the doers. So doers are very important than followers. So if we can approach in this way, and we can reach to each in universities, I think we can develop the sports culture in universities. And as I said, developing a sports culture is not only about sports, it's all about developing the right values, channelizing the energy of the youth in the right direction. Okay, and of course, when you play sports, when you do exercise, it's all about your health, right? And health is very important. We'll be discussing about the health, in coming slides. So when it comes to the management of your lifestyle, how to manage your lifestyle, there are many aspects of managing your lifestyle. The first, these are the 4 things which I mentioned here, and these are all interrelated to each other. Like, for example, exercise, right exercise and right nutrition. So when you have the balance of exercise and the balance of nutrition, this will affect, and any alteration in this, any alteration in exercise, any alteration in nutrition will lead to your alteration, or it can influence your body weight in a negative or in a positive way. I mean, if you don't do enough exercise and your nutrition is not right, your body weight will increase. If you do too much exercise and again your nutrition is not up to the level of exercise, your body weight will reduce. So it will affect your weight. And when your weight is altered, it will affect the wellness, health and wellness of a person. And then this goes in a circle. So these are the 4 important aspects, which one has to, take care in his life. So what are the indicators of health and wellness? When we talk about health, when we talk about the wellness, how do you know, how do you say, and how will you say that you are healthy? Just because you don't have any disease, just because you are not sick, just because you are not visiting a doctor, can you say that you are healthy? Certainly not. Health is a very wide, as a very wide definition, is a wide, broad spectrum, right? So there are different indicators of health and wellness. And many times, because your body weight is normal. So I have heard this, in everywhere, even whenever I travel, I go for conferences. So many times people say that, you see, look, my weight is normal, so I'm fit. So people use this word that my weight is normal, I'm not overweight, so I'm fit, which is a myth and which is a totally wrong statement. So weight has to do something with your fitness, but not everything. We'll discuss that, in coming slides. So what you see on your screen, like if you're not having a coronary heart disease, if your TCL, TC, HDL, LDL levels are normal, your blood pressure is under control, your sugar levels under control, your joints are healthy, you don't have a stress, we can say that these are some of the indicators of your health and wellness. In today's world, when we are living a sedentary lifestyle, so in this situation, these are some of the indicators of your health and wellness, right? So what we can do is to we should integrate exercise with the right nutrition. And when you have a combination of active lifestyle along with a healthy nutrition, you can achieve a good health, and you can achieve, the status of good health. So for that, we need our youth to go to the grounds. We need our youth to go to the playgrounds, okay? Because the playgrounds are the lungs of the city, right? And this is a very famous quote which I have taken from the institute where I spent 5 years for my study. Because when you have more playgrounds, it leads to less sick people, right? So more playgrounds means less hospitals, we need. So we have to focus on that. I don't know, but how and in what way our various institution and administration are thinking in this way. But if you look at in the COVID-19 situation also, we have realized in last 2 years, we have realized how important the health is. So health is something which is, which is above all, which is above even the development, works and all. So health is should be the first priority, for everyone. And this we all have realized, in the last 2 years, right? So when you have less number of sick people, this leads to less burden on the health facilities. And when you have this less burden on health facilities, it leads to the healthy economy and development. So the health is in some or other way directly linked to the economy also and the development of any nation also. So, and that's why exercise becomes very, very important and significant for each and every citizen of the country. I want to share with you, this is a very latest, article which I found just yesterday when I was preparing my presentation to discuss, here. So I just found this, and which is very interesting. This is, and this again shows the importance of physical activity and exercise in our life. So this research article, which is just published, this month, in British Journal of Sports Medicine, this shows that if you are actively involved in physical activity does not mean, as I said, that playing sports. It can be any form of physical activity. You just need to move your body. Movement is the key, right? So this will help, if you look at the COVID-19 prognosis, the research have shown that there is a reduced risk of hospitalization and death. So if you are physically active, if you are physically fit, and if you are regularly, doing some sort of exercise, then you will be having a reduced risk of hospitalization and death because of COVID-19. And when it comes to the COVID-19 vaccines, so if you are physically active, you will have a better and enhanced immune response to the COVID-19 vaccines. So again, the vaccines are important, but if you are physically active, you will get a better enhanced, response, towards this, COVID-19 vaccine. So I think, this is an eye opener for all of us, why physical activity is so important. Now, how can you engage yourself in physical activity? Sometimes it becomes difficult for us, and sometimes when you tell others to do physical activity, people just become lazy, and there are many excuses. And even if I ask you to do exercise, some sort of running or cycling or swimming, we sometimes ourselves resist, right? And we are not ready to, do that. Why? Because of many psychological barriers. But you have to understand one thing, that your body can stand almost anything. We have those physical capacities. As I give an example for myself, I never cycled for last 32 years. I never did cycling. And I conquered mighty Khardungla Pass with a cycle. And I was in the top 3, always, in that group. It's not that I was lagging behind. So your body has that physical capacity. It's your mind that you have to convince. I always say that once you convince yourself, nothing is impossible for you. It's not only in sports, it's in every field, anything. So you have to convince yourself. Nobody can convince you, right? I can give you lectures, but at the end, how much you are convinced, not by myself, are you convinced by yourself? So that is important. So once you convince yourself, once you convince your mind, you can do any form of physical activity, and you can just engage yourself in those activities. Now, here is an example of like what I'm saying. Many of you say, oh, I cannot exercise. I have this problem. I have that problem. But look, she is the heaviest woman to finish a full marathon. And her weight is 346 pounds. And she ran 42 kilometers. So it's all about, like, what do you want to do? If you really want to do, you can do it. It's all about your priorities. What is in your priority list? If health and fitness is not in your priority list, you will not be able to convince yourself, and you will not be able to engage in physical activity or exercises. So it all depends upon how you think and how you believe. Okay. Now, again, you can see some of these examples, and these are real examples. This is what, I have seen myself when I run these marathons. Even I go abroad in many countries and I run full marathons. So these are real examples. Many people will say, I have this problem, I have that problem, I am busy, and I have, these are issues. But you see, these people, they cannot just leave their kids at the home. So, but they have to run. So they are determined, they are dedicated, they are committed. So they decide to run, with their kids in the strollers and, these things. And you just imagine running 42 kilometers like this, so much, so it's all depends upon your priorities, and all depends upon your commitment, right? So therefore, if you look at all these examples, the fitness is just a state of mind. I always say that in all my lectures, that fitness is just a state of mind. So you have to first think in your mind. So every idea, everything, every action of your body comes from the mind, right? So it is, once it comes in your mind, you can translate into the physical actions, right? So everybody, as I said, wants to do exercise, but still many people don't do. Why? Because of the psychology, because of your mind, because you don't understand, you are not really realized, whether you have to do exercise. Now, if you listen to my lecture today and some of you can tomorrow go morning and they start exercising, it will not help you. Maybe you will do it for 1 week or 2 weeks and then you will stop. So you really have to understand, you really have to convince yourself, you really have to realize why you want to do exercise. You have to see what are the obstacles which can come in your daily routine, and then accordingly plan your program and fit your program into daily lifestyle. So your exercise programs, your fitness programs, so anything you do, it should be incorporated into your lifestyle. It should be part of your lifestyle. If it is not part of your lifestyle, you cannot do it for long, right? So you see many people, they start and they stop after a few months, because we think that you have to do exercise only for a few months. And that's why, if you see so many people go for the weight loss programs, I want to go to the gym to lose my weight and this and that. And you see these gyms, these fitness experts also, they will give you fixed programs like, okay, 12 weeks program, 15 weeks program, 16 weeks programs like this. I always question them. Why do you give a physical fitness program with a duration, fixed duration? Do you mean that you have to exercise only for 12 weeks? Do you mean that you have to exercise only for 16 weeks? What about after 16 weeks? What about after 6 months? So do you recommend them to stop exercise? And that's why our approach, the way we start, there's a fault at the beginning. And that's why these programs are not successful. And why I'm saying these programs are not successful, because if you look at the data, if you look at 50 years before also, people were obese, overweight. After 50 years also, we are following the same program and people are still overweight and obese. And this number is not decreasing, right? The number of people who are overweight and obese are increasing year by year around the world. And now even the obesity has come to the adolescent. Obesity has come to the child also. So we have childhood obesity. So these programs are faulty. That's why I said you need to have a program. We need to have a fitness programs or exercise programs which can be incorporated into your lifestyle. So there is no expiry for the exercise. You have to exercise till your last breath. As long as we are alive, you have to exercise, because exercise is something which can give you benefit only until you are doing it. Once you stop exercising, you will lose all the benefits you have gained from exercise in very short time. And that is why I said fitness is just a state of mind. So you have to begin, you have to understand, realize, and incorporate these programs into your life. Now, as I said before also, that weight is not just a criteria for you to be fit. So many times there is a myth, there's a misconception that being a lean, I'm fit, but it's not right. Being a lean does not mean that you are fit, because I am even when I go around, I meet my friends, even in my universities, everyone tell me, even my students, teacher, you are fit. I said, why? Look, teacher, you are your weight. I said, I'm not fit because my weight is such. I'm fit because I do exercise. So sometimes your weight is normal, and because your weight is normal, that becomes a barrier for you to do exercise. So you think my weight is normal, so I'm fit, and you don't involve yourself in exercise, right? Until there is some problem, there is some sickness, or there is some issues, right? So being a lean, and many times the people who are overweight, they are more fit than someone who is lean and thin. So fitness has nothing to do with your body weight. Body weight is a byproduct of physical exercise. If you are involved in physical exercise, if you're involved in some sort of fitness programs, your body weight will remain normal. Definitely, that's a byproduct. That's by default, your weight will be, in a normal range. So the focus should not be on body weight. The focus should be on the exercise. But unfortunately, all our focuses are on body weight because my body weight is more. That's why I want to go to the gym. Because I am overweight, so I am going to the gym for a weight loss programs. So we have to change this approach. We go to a doctor because we are sick. That's not the right approach. So we have to take precautions. We have to start exercising when you are healthy so that you can continue with that good health. Don't just wait for something happen to your body and then you start involved in physical activity. The other thing is the BMI, your body mass index, and body fat percent. Many times we just follow only body mass index. That is, you divide your body weight by the square of your height and you see your BMI is normal. But what I say always is you have to look at the body fat percent. When you say you are overweight, it is not because you are 90 kilo, because you are 80 kilo, you are overweight. You are overweight because of the excess body fat in your body. So just when you say 90 kilo, when you say 80 kg, that's just a figure, that is just a number. That does not mean anything. That does not tell you whether you are overweight or you are underweight or you are normal weight. It is the percentage of fat in your body that will decide whether your weight is more than the normal, or whether your weight is normal, or whether you are underweight. So we have to see the percentage of body fat, and that's where you have to target when you are doing any exercise, or physical fitness programs. So as I said, exercise leads to the wellness, right? And if you don't exercise, if you keep yourself inactive, that will lead to the number of hypokinetic diseases. So hypokinetic diseases are basically these are diseases which you get because of no or less physical activity. And these are like some of these conditions which are associated with physical inactivity and poor fitness, like obesity, metabolic syndromes, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, even the osteoporosis, especially after 50 years of age, your bones become porous, the bones become weak and fragile, and they can easily break. The type 2 diabetes, low back pain, depression. So these are all because of inactivity. And believe me, when you do exercise, when you keep yourself engaged in some sort of physical activity, you can stay away from all these diseases. And in COVID-19 also, we have seen that, how physical activity and exercise can help to reduce, all these hypokinetic diseases, in a person. If you exercise regularly, your blood sugar will never increase. I have done this experiment on me for the last 4 years in multiple times. I stop exercise, say for some time, 3 months, and again I start exercising, and I have done a case study on me. And I was very much able to control my sugar levels, my type 2 diabetes, according to my wish. And without controlling my food, without controlling my diet. I can very well, if I can engage in physical activity, I do exercise, I can bring it down in 3 to 4 months. Very easily I can do that, even without controlling the food. And if I control my diet, I can certainly, manage it much better way. So you can easily manage all these diseases with the help of, good physical fitness programs. When I say physical activity, I like, you can choose. I personally like to do a lot of running. So everybody has different interests. Some of you may like doing cycling, some of you may like go for a swimming, some of you can go for adventure programs, trekking, hiking, or playing different sports, whichever you like. So it can be anything according to your interest, and the facilities available with you. So let me give you here some data which I think can motivate you and can, again, bring some desire in you to involve in physical activities. If you do running, running is something which does not cost anything. You don't need anyone. You can do it alone. You can do in any weather, whether it is a hot, cold, it's a raining season, anywhere. So running is, very easy to do exercise. And if you look at some of the data, so people who are regularly involved in running, they can lower the risk of early death from all type of causes by 27%, which is, huge, right? And weekly running can result in a 30% lower risk of death from cardiovascular disease and 23% lower risk of death from all types of cancer, which is huge, and which is, I think a very good motivation for everyone to involve in some or other form of exercise. And these health benefits come from running even just once a week. You don't have to run a lot. Like me, for example, I run marathons and all. So I'm doing it for different purpose, different reason, for my passion. But you can even do just once a week for less than 50 minutes a week duration and at a speed below 6 miles per hour. So it's not that you have to do it every day. But if you do every day, it's good. But if you do just once a week also, can give you a lot of health benefits. So what is exercise? Exercise is, as I said, it's not necessarily that you have to do some structured form of exercise or you have to play some structured sports, with some rules and regulations. It can be any form of movement, any form of recreational. Nowadays, I'm doing a lot of research projects, where I want to see the effect of, the exercise, when you are involved in a recreational sports, like not proper structured sports. Like, for example, football is played 11 versus 11. So we want to see whether if you play 3 versus 3 football, 3 versus 3 basketball, like short-sided games or recreational games without rules and regulations. The point is not, of course, you can play with rules and regulations, but you can do anything, without any rules and regulations also. So any unstructured sports, you can do yoga or anything else which keeps your body moving. That is called exercise, right? So how much exercise you have to do? So you can do either aerobic activity. Aerobic means you can do running, cycling, biking, or any other form of activity which is continuous in nature. Or you can go for resistance training, like you can lift some weight, you can do weight training or jumps and all those things in the gym. So what you should do is you should go for around 150 to 300 minutes of moderate activity in a week. That is what recommended by the WHO also with the latest recommendation. So 150 to 300 minutes of moderate activity in a week. And I always, since I run, so I always advocate and I always say running is the best form of physical activity. So how to build your program? So first of all, you need to have a dedicated time for physical activity. So you have to decide, okay, this is my time, because unless you have a time slot and you stick to it, adherence is difficult. So adherence is something which comes when you have regularity in your schedule. And then you should we have to think about the adolescent inactivity, like in our families. So you have to tell your kids, you have to tell your children, to involve in physical activity. And when I say involved in physical activity I mean developing a right active attitude in a child. Now, I will give example here, and I hope most of you may agree with me. Like my son, he goes for playing football every day in the evening. And when he comes, I said, now Shantanu, you have to go and do some exercise. I give him some program. Okay, you have to go for running or do this. Then he said, Dad, already I have played. I said, you played, but you went for a recreation, right? You did not go to play football with the aim of doing exercise, right? Your aim was to socialize, to play with your friends and all those things, to spend your time, right? Not with the attitude of exercise. So I want to develop an active attitude in you. And that's why I want you to do exercise. Now you are going for running and you are going for a purpose. And that is why, you see, we all have played games in our childhood, right? But how many of us continue to do exercise in later stage of our life? We stop because we never played those games, keeping that exercise in our mind. So developing that active attitude in a child is very important, and that's why I always say the active family is very, very important. If I just exercise and my family does not do, it means I am not responsible towards my family. So if I am a responsible member of a family, I have to make sure that my entire family, I motivate them and I keep them active. Because it's responsibility, it's a responsibility. As a head of a family, it is my responsibility also to keep my family active. So when you think in that way, when you take your entire family, and you feel yourself you're responsible and you keep them active, this is how when you from family to other family, and that's how it's come to society, and that's how it's come to the entire nation. So this is the way we should build our program. This is the way we should approach, and when we do this, we can spread this message, and everybody will be, maybe involved in physical activity and so. So these are some of the examples like what you see on your screen. Sometimes we don't have a time. Sometimes we cannot go out because of the weather conditions, because of other things. So there's so many things you can do in your home. There's so many things you can do in your office. I have given here in my university, I have given the program, exercise programs for the office people. Like even when you are working in your office, during your lunch time, during your coffee breaks, you can do so many things, so many exercises to keep yourself active, and fit. Even you can see here, you can do it with your regular household materials. So as I said, once you convince yourself and once you decide, again, some of the examples on your screen, you can find many more such examples if you try to just search these things on the internet. And you see these exercises, they are complete exercises. They are from your head to the toe, from your strength to the aerobics, everything you can do. Just you need a very small space, and you can do all exercises. Okay. Coming to the nutrition, that is important part. When we talk about exercise, we cannot just only talk about exercise if we don't discuss nutrition. So nutrition is very important, right? Like having a right food is again, important for your health. So what you should be having, you should be taking a varied and wholesome nutrient-rich diet, which actually should be based on fruits and vegetables, carbohydrate, legumes, beans, grains, and you should ensure the adequate vitamins and minerals, right? And always we say, whenever you take anything, for example, if you want to take protein, you should take protein from the regular food. That's why we always say food first approach. We should never go for the supplement when you talk about like taking extra protein, especially for the people who go to the gym, who do exercise, or to the young people. We'll come to that a little later. So your body has so many stores, for your energy. You can see your carbohydrate, with the stores of carbohydrate and fat, you can do almost, 700 kilometers. So energy storage is not a problem. So so whatever you eat basically is stored in your body in the form of energy. And when you eat extra, when you eat more than what you require in a day, that will be stored in your body in the form of a fat. That's how a person become overweight fat. Now, some of you may have a question that how do I know how much energy I need in every day? How do you know that how much calories you need every day? So this is, you can take a screenshot. This is very simple and easy to calculate. And you can find out for yourself later on by putting these values. So first you need to find out what is your resting metabolic rate. When I say RMR or resting metabolic rate, means this is the minimum amount of energy you need every day. That's the minimum energy. If you eat less than this number, which is on your screen, it will affect your health in a negative way. So first you should know what is your resting metabolic rate. And normally for an adult, this value is somewhere between 1500 to 1700 calories. It means every day you must eat at least 1500 to 1600 or 1700 calories. If you eat less than this, it will affect your health in a negative way. There are many people who try to lose their body weight and they eat very less calories. They go with the 1200 calories, 1000 calories. They do dieting. So by that process, you can lose your body weight, but it will impair your health. So do you want to lose your body weight by compromising on your health? Certainly not. So their target is to lose body weight, but at the end, it will affect their health in negative way. So you must not take calories less than your resting metabolic rate. So once you know what is your resting metabolic rate, then you can use these equations. You can take a screenshot and you can use these equations to calculate how much energy you need every day. For example, if you don't do any work, you just sit in office and come back home, then you can use these equations here, like this number 1.25. If you are low active, means you do some walking, some exercise, you can use 1.5 value. If you play some regular sports, you can use 1.75. And if you are elite, you are athlete, you are very active, you can use 2.2. And accordingly, you will know.
Dr. Rakesh, there is some problem.
So we have lost the connection again with the speaker. So we'll be trying then. Let us wait for a moment.
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir. Let's hope he joins us back. There is obviously some network issue with him.
I'm really sorry, something is happening today with my internet.
It's okay. It's okay.
I'm really sorry. I don't know, this happened to
We
me
are
first
here.
time.
Yes, sir. No issue at all. It does happen.
Okay, so now next is a protein. Protein is, I think, those youth who are listening to me and who are going to the gym. So you may be interested in knowing how much protein you should eat, because protein is something which is very fascinating, for everyone. And I always say protein is not only important for the youth, but protein is equally important for the old age people also. If you are old age, for all our faculty members also. Even I tell to my parents, I take very much care that my parents, they take enough protein, because in old age also the protein requirements increases. So the protein is very important. And what you see here on your screen is the requirement of protein, for you. So if you do exercise, if you're going to the gym, you try to build your body, then you should need 1.2 to 1.6 grams of protein per kg of your body weight. Certainly not more than that. There is no need for any form of a supplements for the protein. Believe me, these supplements does not help. It is just a psychological. You can get the required protein through your regular food. Even I'm giving diet to some of the elite athletes, and I never recommend any protein supplements until and unless there are some specific reasons, specific issues. But in general, we never recommend it. And if you don't exercise, you need only 0.6 to 0.8 gram of protein per kg of your body weight, maximum 1 gram. So if you are 70 kilo, you need 70 grams of protein, which you can easily, meet the requirement through your daily food. And I'll give you some examples in coming slides, how you can fulfill that. Even if you are a vegetarian, you don't eat animal meat, for example, that diet can also meet the requirement of the protein. And your body can use only 20 grams or 25 grams of protein at one time. So if you take more protein, it does not help you in any way. So what is, when you do some exercise, for example, you go to the gym and you do some lot of training, or if you do some other form of exercise, how much protein you need after the exercise? After the exercise, we say 45 minutes is a golden window. Within first 45 minutes, you must take some protein and carbohydrate to replenish the, the stores of, the protein and, glycogen in your muscles. So you need around 0.3 to 0.4 grams of protein per kg of your body weight after exercise, which roughly comes to 30 to 40 grams of protein after the exercise. Okay, not more than that. So is protein supplementation useful? As I said earlier also, protein supplementation is not that really beneficial. It all depends upon, many situations. So if you are taking an adequate diet, then you don't need a protein supplementation. But if your diet, even if you are after adequate diet, you are not able to fulfill the requirement because of some travel restrictions, some traveling problems, or other your schedule problems, we may recommend supplementation, but it is not really beneficial over and above your adequate diet. Now, which protein is the best source? The animal protein or a plant-based protein? Certainly the animal-based proteins, if you look at the evidence, they are better than the plant-based proteins. And that is because of the leucine. The animal proteins have more leucine content, and that's why they are a better protein compared to the plant. But in the plant proteins also, like maize, millet, red kidney beans, they are also good source of leucine. So when you combine the different plant proteins, you can, easily, get the required amino acids. Okay. So now many of you may have question about the whey protein, because nowadays I also see many people, they go for the whey protein and they say, oh, is it good? And should I take whey protein and all those things? So certainly whether whey protein is good or not, it all depends upon in what context, context you are taking the whey protein. So certainly the whey protein, why we say it is good, because it can be rapidly digested and it can be rapidly absorbed, in your body. And that's why we say whey protein is good. But you does not have that requirement throughout the day, right? When you're playing some games, you are in between the matches, you have some, if you are playing some games, then you may need, rapidly, you require some protein. At that time, whey is good, but certainly not throughout the day. So you have to combine your whey protein with the regular protein, then only it is more beneficial. But in isolation, if you are just taking only whey protein as a replacement to the regular protein, then it is not a good idea. So there is a lot of confusion and misguided message about the protein, that if you want to build muscles, you need to eat a lot of protein. Certainly not. It's not all about protein. It is more about the exercise. Okay. So exercise, along with, as I said, you need only 1.5 grams of protein, not more than that. If you take excess protein, it does not strengthen your muscles. Okay, if you consume more protein than what you required, you will be simply burning that protein as a fuel source. That protein will not be used for your muscle building. That protein will be used as a fuel source, not for muscles, right? So and that is why there is a confusion among people. So and like sometimes there is a confusion that the people who go to the gym, they need more protein. The people who do cardio, more like running and all, they need more carbohydrate and all those things. The point is that there should be a proper balance of protein and carbohydrate in your food. Because when you want to, if you go to the gym and you want to lift the weight, right? You cannot lift weight because of the protein, right? You at that time when you are lifting weight, when you're doing exercise, at that time the energy will come from the carbohydrates, right? So your muscles need energy, muscles need fuel at that time. The role of the protein comes later on. So even the bodybuilders, they need carbohydrate based diet, because it is the carbohydrate that will help them to lift that heavy weight at that moment. Okay, so the carbohydrates are equally important for the people who are going, like who are bodybuilders and who go to the gym to build their muscles. So as I said, requirements are certainly not more than, in any case, I said 1.5, but in any case it should not exceed more than 2 grams per kg of your body weight. Above 2 grams, there is no research which shows any additional advantage in terms of the muscle protein synthesis. And these are some of the requirements. If you can take a screenshot according to your lifestyle, if you are not exercising, if you do some exercise, if you are endurance athlete, you go to the gym, and different categories, you can see how much protein you require according to your status. Now, if you may be asking question, how do I know that I'm taking enough protein or not? Because, as a nutritionist, I know if I take 100 ml of milk, I know it gives me 3 grams of proteins. If I take, 100 grams of yogurt or curd, I know it gives me 4 grams of protein. So I know as a nutritionist how much protein in my particular food, but for a lay person, for a common man, it is not easy to know. So how you can easily assess whether you are getting the adequate but not excessive protein in your daily diet is to follow this rule. So whatever you are eating, your normal food, just over and above that, if you take additional 2 cups of milk, that can certainly fulfill the requirement of your daily protein requirement. And for the growing teenagers and novice bodybuilders with high protein needs, can get additional protein by drinking another 2 cups of milk. Milk is something which is very easily available, and everybody except people who have allergy to the milk products, all others can enjoy the milk and get the required protein from there. These are some of the sources. You can take screenshot. I'm just would like to finish now in a couple of minutes. And like as I said, the protein supplements and protein powders, if you want to compare that also, I personally do exercise, but I never go with any supplements and protein powders. Rather, I go with the protein rich food. So you can see the cost with how much protein is available. You see the cost is very high. If you go with, say with the milk, you see for the non-fat milk, is the cost is, say, this is in the dollars, of course, of 1.69, it gives you 32 grams of protein. But if you go with any like protein bars or any other supplement, the cost is very high with the same gram of protein. Plus, when you take the supplements, you are not taking the other important organic compounds which you get from the regular food, right? So regular food is always better than any form of supplements or the sports foods. Now, there is a myth, as I said before, your body can use only 25 grams of protein at one time. So you cannot use more than, more than 25 grams of protein at one time. So for example, if you miss the protein in your lunch and in your breakfast, and you think that in the dinner you can take 60-70 grams of protein, you can take 2 pieces of chickens or any other form of a meat, and you can fulfill the requirement of a day, that's wrong. Because if you take 60-70 grams or heavy protein diet in the dinner, you are only using 25 grams. The remaining 30-35 grams will be excreted from your body. So you have to evenly balance your protein throughout the day. So you have to take around 25 grams protein in the breakfast, 25 grams in your lunch, in your snacks, and then in your dinner time. So it should be equally distributed throughout your day. Okay. So how much carbohydrate you need? The requirement for the carbohydrate is, if you are not doing any hard exercise, you need just 3 to 5 grams of carbohydrate per kg of your body weight. So this all depends upon your body weight. Okay, if you do some exercise, then you need 5 to 7 grams, and accordingly your requirements will increase depending upon how much exercise you do. But for most of you who are just doing some recreational form of exercise, you need roughly 5 to 6 grams of carbohydrate per kg of your body weight. So if you're 70 kilo, most of you who are listening to me probably may need, if your weight is 70 kilo, somewhere around 300 to 400 grams of carbohydrate every day. And these carbohydrates should be combined, like, you should be taking, like more of a whole carbohydrate, like from the whole grains, not from the processed carbohydrate. So don't go with the processed carbohydrate. Don't go with the refined carbohydrate. You should go with the whole carbohydrate. Okay, non-processed, like the cereals, grains, for example, these things. So does sugar cause diabetes? Everyone will say yes, sugar will cause diabetes. But I will say no. It's not about the sugar. It is about the quantity of the carbohydrate in your food. So if you need 350 grams of carbohydrate and you take all this carbohydrate only from sugar, that's a problem. So the problem is not because of sugar, it is problem because of the lack of exercise. If you don't do exercise, certainly even the 1 spoon of sugar is not good for you. But if you do exercise, then that sugar does not, hurt you that much when it comes to the diabetes. Even the most fit people can enjoy a little sugar without fear of health issues. And I have done this experiment on my body a number of times. Are all carbohydrates equal? No, all carbohydrates are not equal. Some carbohydrates you can digest very rapidly. Some carbohydrates you cannot digest rapidly. So they are different. Some are called as a slow, some are fast. So you should, as a normal person, you should try to take the slow carbohydrate, not the fast one. But you can always combine with the fast and slow to have a perfect. Is carbohydrate fattening? Now, many people, they have questions that, oh, if I take too much carbohydrate, I'll become fat, I'll become overweight. As I said before, so it is not the carbohydrate which makes you overweight. So you take carbohydrate, you take protein, you take fat also. And carbohydrate and protein gives you 4 calories per gram, while fat gives you 9 calories. So it is the excess calorie from whatever you eat which results in the fattening, not just because from the carbohydrate. So you have to understand that also, that conversion of the excess calories to the fats from carbohydrate is limited and not easy. Whereas when you take excess fat, that excess fat can be converted into the adipose tissue more easily compared to the carbohydrate. So it is the excess calorie from whatever you eat that makes you fat, not just because of the carbohydrate. So this is again, not a fact. Now again, the white bread. Many of us, we nowadays we eat brown breads, right? And we say that brown bread is more healthy, and we say that white bread is nutritionally, worthless, and it is a waste of calories, which is, actually not true. Because although it is not a whole grain, when you say the white bread, it is not a whole grain, but it is not a bad food. It can be easily balanced into the wholesome diet. But if you take the entire carbohydrate in the form of white bread, it is not good. But if you balance this white bread into a wholesome diet, then this can, there is no issue with that. Because most of the white breads are enriched with the vitamin B and iron. So it all depends upon what is your entire diet. So in that spectrum, from the point of view of your entire diet for a day, then this white bread, whether we can say that it is worthy or not worthy. So, but if you just take only one slice of a white bread and the remaining 90% of the carbohydrate come from the whole food, then that one slice of white bread is not bad for you. Okay. Then there are certain supplements and sports food. This is if some of you are, I believe some of you may be playing some sports, maybe involved in some physical activity, maybe in some professional sports. If you are doing that, then probably some of you might be interested in knowing some supplements which can help you to improve your performance. So this is my last slide for you, for those people. And there are some, although we don't recommend supplements, but there are some supplements which are recommended, you know, even by the International Olympic Committee, and which are considered as safe for all the athletes, you know, and other people who are involved in physical exercises. And these are the supplements on your screen. You can take caffeine from the regular coffee. So if you take regular coffee, it can improve your aerobic and endurance performance. Like, for example, when I'll be running my marathon next week, I'll be taking, you know, regular coffee, in some very strong coffee before my event. So this can help to improve your performance, not only in marathon, but also in many other sports. Even like, for example, you play badminton, you know, and then you should, if you take caffeine, say 1 hour before your game, that can, you know, improve your, you know, performance. Creatine is good for those people who go to the gym and who are interested in building your muscles, building your body. So creatine, when we say creatine, is a monohydrate. Creatine monohydrate is again beneficial to increase your muscles. Okay. And then nitrate you can get from the beetroot. Beetroot is a very good source of nitrate. Nitrate can also help to improve your performance. Then you can take the sodium bicarbonate. Sodium bicarbonate can help to delay the fatigue when you do some exercise. So this is not, these supplements are not for a normal recreational exerciser, right? This is for the people who are involved in some sort of professional sports or professional games. So I just thought I should, you know, share it with, maybe there are some listeners who are playing some sports here, and this may benefit them. So with this, I would like to give rest to my talk, and there's so many things to discuss, so many things to talk, but we have limitations. I have to just, you know, finish in the stipulated time. So with this, I would like to say thank you very much to all of you who have given me a patience hearing and gave me this opportunity, you know, to share some of my knowledge, some of my thought with you. And I hope it might have, you know, given some benefit, you know, to the students who are listening to me, and maybe you can implement certain things in your lifestyle later on and may get some benefits. So with this, thank you once again, the entire organizing team of Sharia Kashmir University of Agriculture, Science and Technology for giving me this opportunity. Thank you so much. Over to the organizers.
Thanks a lot, sir. Thanks a lot, sir, for your this detailed presentation over here. It was nice to hear you. Particularly, I could see that the idea you have given about that sports culture, and then development of those museums and other things. I think our Dr. Sajjad must have, even Dr. Ajaz, they must have just taken note of those things there, and they are basically stakeholders in our universities who can just go with those ideas, innovative ideas, I can say.
Thank you
So
very
that
much.
they can infuse some interest in the students as well as the faculty. Well said that you mean that in our culture, it's few of the people in the institute that they are engaged with the sports. Otherwise, all rest they are least touched or concerned. So for that, you need that culture, sports culture, and well said that sports, in other words, also inculcate in you the values, the discipline, exactly, attitudes. That I agree with you. It makes the people to be disciplined, to have some sports attitude, in other words. what's very important for us with this message to our students and the faculty over here this morning now. I'm really thankful to the speaker of the day. If anybody wants to have
Yes,
some suggestion or clarification or something like that, you can please unmute yourself.
Okay, sir. Okay,
Anybody from this?
yes,
Yes, yes. Dr.
let
Ajaz,
us take
please go ahead.
let me take this opportunity to thank my friend Rakesh for this nice interactive session, sir. It was really great to listen to you after a long time. I still remember the days when we were in the college and you organized so beautiful programs. And I still remember the day when I was participating in the quiz and you were the moderator at that time. I just picked one important point from your lecture, that is the integration of sports with traditional games and regional culture. We have definitely many such games like sazalong, hopscotch, जिसको आप कहते हैं, या hicket karin, that is a tulay langan tulan chess, this traditional name. Tinkan Giduna, marble games we used to play during our childhood. Then, of course, the Shinjang, snow fight, we usually do, even if adults also participate in the Shinjang. That other Garmasginu, that is another game. I will definitely take this opportunity and I will convince my authorities and make a proposal to include these traditional games into our sports week. Thank you very much. It was really nice to see you. Thanks.
Thanks, Ajaz. It was in my mind just to suggest you all those Sazulung, Lutkin Lut, both side games, Garam Garam, Yati they were games of our days. Yes, you should take in consideration those. Yes, I really love that you just take the initiative and you just see that these traditional games are there in our sports in the institutes. So anybody else who wants to have some suggestions or discussion with our speaker of the day, please may unmute yourself. If yes, if it is not so, may I request Dr. Muddassir Ali for the vote of thanks, please. Muddassir.
Hello, sorry.
Yeah. Yes. Please, we have a speaker with us. So I think it's our moral duty to have the formal, the vote of thanks to our speaker. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon, all, and I, on behalf of organizing committee, would like to thank today's August speaker, that's Rakesh Tomar, for sparing the time for this webinar, although being very busy. And that we can understand that despite this busy schedule, he was able to take out time for this seminar. Indeed, the lecture is very much related to the theme that until and unless we are not physically fit, we cannot be mentally fit. We cannot inculcate those virtues and skills which are important as a human being. Therefore, the physical health is very important for mental health as well. Thanks a lot, sir, for taking out time and delivering on these aspects which we usually ignore in our institutes. So thanks for that, sir. We are also thankful to our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Nazir Ahmed Ganai, who also is project in charge NAHAP for all the support rendered for this webinar. And he is the person who has made sure that we get all the requirements for this carrying out this webinar. We are also thankful to deans across all the faculties, and special thanks goes to our worthy dean, Professor Tufail Ahmed Bande, for providing all the support. I'm also thankful on behalf of organizing committee to Professor Muhammad Altab Bhatt, who has been with us in this morning. And equally, I am thankful to all the faculty members and especially students who have been with us for this whole session. Thank you all. Thanks once again. Thank you.
I must add over here, before we leave, we have with us the officer on special duty, of Vice Chancellor, Professor Azmat Alam Khan. He has been with us and he is there. I am really thankful to Azmat Alam Khan who has spared his time, and he has been with us for whole of this session, and even Professor Fazli who has also joined us. So I'm really thankful to these, the officials, the officers of the university, and of course, the speaker of the day. Really obliged, sir. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.